Chapter 7. The Slow Lane. Why Jobs, Frugality, and Retirement Fail from the Millionaire. Fastlane, let's get honest. You've probably been told that if you want to be rich, you need to work hard, save more, spend less, and retire late. Jobs are safe. Frugality is noble. Retirement is the reward. That's the message we've all heard since we were kids. But in this chapter, MJ DeMarco flips that whole message on its head, and after reading it, I realized something. The system that's supposed to help us is actually what's keeping us stuck. Let me break it down for you. First, let's talk about jobs. Jobs aren't bad. They pay the bills. They teach you skills. They give structure. But here's the hard truth. A job trades your time for money. Period. That means if you don't work, you don't earn. No matter how much you make, your income is limited by your time. And even if you're well paid, your freedom is still owned by someone else. You're on their schedule, their priorities, their terms. That's not real freedom. That's a modern cage. Next up is frugality. Saving money is smart, yes, but frugality alone won't make you wealthy. Skipping lattes, clipping coupons, or buying off-brand toilet paper won't change your life. Frugality focuses on shrinking your life instead of expanding your income. You can only cut so much. There's a limit to how little you can spend, but there's no limit to how much you can earn. So instead of asking, how can I spend less? Start asking, how can I earn more, create more, scale more? And finally, let's talk about retirement. The traditional model says, work hard for 40 years, then relax when you're 65. But ask yourself this, what if your health isn't there? What if you're too tired to enjoy the freedom you waited for? Delaying your life until your body can't enjoy it isn't the plan. That's a gamble. And worst of all, it assumes you make it that far. Example 1. Single woman, saving everything but living nothing. Let me introduce you to Mel. She's 33, single, and extremely disciplined. She has a strict budget, never eats. Out, drives an old car, and rarely travels. She saves half her paycheck. Her friends call her the responsible one. But here's what nobody sees. Mel hates her job. She dreams of starting a yoga retreat business. She has ideas, passion, and talent, but she won't touch her savings. She's saving for retirement. She's living like she's preparing to live. Someday. And every day that passes, her energy fades. Her fire dims. What Mel doesn't realize is that her safety net is actually her prison. She's delaying her dream life in the name of playing it safe. But the cost is time and joy. Example 2. Father who does everything right and still loses. Now let me tell you about Eric. He's 47, married, 2 teenagers, and a full-time employee at a tech firm. He's been saving diligently for 20 years. Has a solid 401k. Always buys secondhand. Never takes vacations. He's been following the slow lane plan like a textbook. Then one day, the company downsizes. He's gone. With 2 kids in college, a mortgage, and rising expenses, his savings start disappearing faster than he can process. Eric did everything right, by the system's standards, but the system failed him. Why? Because it was never designed to make him wealthy. It was designed to keep him obedient. This is what MJ DeMarco is saying in this chapter. The slow lane sells you a vision that makes everyone else rich, except you. It keeps you focused on saving pennies instead of building assets. It convinces you to work harder instead of smarter. It delays your life for a future that isn't promised. You don't get rich by downsizing your dreams. You get rich by creating something bigger than your paycheck. You need leverage. You need scale. You need ownership. That's what the Fast Lanes offers. Let's summarize. Jobs can support you, but they rarely free you. Frugality might help you survive, but it won't help you thrive. And retirement shouldn't be the goal. It should be the bonus. If your plan requires 40 years of sacrifice to feel free, it's not freedom, it's a financial trap. The slow lane feels smart, but it's slow, and time is your most limited asset. So let me ask you, number 1, are you shrinking your life just to save a few bucks instead of growing your income? Number 2, if you stopped working today, how long would your current plan support you? Number 3, what are you sacrificing now that you may not get back later? You're not here to delay life. You're here to live it. And the slow lane? It's not the only way. Next up, we'll talk about one of the biggest financial myths of all, compound interest. Chapter 8. Misuse of compound interest. You've probably heard it before. Compound interest is the most powerful force in the universe. And yeah, it sounds smart. It feels like wisdom. Save early. Let it grow. Retire rich. But what if I told you that the way we're told to use compound interest isn't actually how the rich get rich? In this chapter, MJ DeMarco breaks a sacred money myth. And if you've ever felt like saving isn't getting you anywhere, this might explain why. Compound interest is real. It works. But here's the problem. It takes a very long time to see meaningful results. The typical advice goes like this. Start saving when you're 22. Invest consistently. Don't touch it. By 65, you'll be a millionaire. 65? That's when you're finally allowed to enjoy life? The truth is, compound interest moves slow in the beginning. And during the years when you have the most energy, creativity, and ambition, you're told to wait. Wait for the market. Wait for the compounding. Wait to live. DeMarco calls that the get-rich-old plan. And honestly, it's a plan for survival, not wealth. Example 1. Responsible saver who ends up behind. Take Marcus. He's 30 and has been saving since his early 20s. He follows the advice perfectly. Invests 15% of his income, avoids debt, lives simply. But at 30, he's barely scraped together $30,000. Sure, it'll grow, but the real benefits won't kick in for another 30 years. Meanwhile, his rent has gone up, his job feels shaky, and inflation is eating away at what he's saved. He's doing everything right, but he feels stuck. That's because compound interest isn't designed to make you free early. It's designed to make you dependent on time. Example 2. Business owner using leverage instead. Now meet Hannah. She's also 30, but instead of waiting for compound interest, she built an online business that earns her $7,000 a month. That income isn't locked away. It's not waiting for a retirement date. It's money she uses now to travel, invest, and create more. She reinvests profits into digital products and ads. She builds a brand that compounds in influence. That's real compounding. When your income, not just your savings, multiplies. Hannah's wealth doesn't depend on interest rates. It depends on value creation. Here's the point. Compound interest is not bad, but it's not your main tool for freedom. It's a supplement, not the strategy. If you want to be wealthy in this lifetime, while you're young enough to enjoy it, you need to focus on building assets that scale. Build a business. Create something that solves problems. Leverage your time. Multiply your value. That's when your income starts compounding in ways a mutual fund never could. So, what's the takeaway? Compound interest works best when paired with Fastlane principles. Use it, but don't depend on it. Don't build a plan around the hope of $1 million in 40 years. Build a plan that creates $10,000 a month in the next 5. It's not about saving more. It's about building smarter. Here are your 3 reflection questions. Number 1, are you relying on compound interest because it's safe or because you think it's your only option? Number 2, what could you build that creates value and earns while you sleep? And number 3, what if you focused on compounding income, not just compounding savings? You have more power than you think. Let's stop waiting. Let's start creating. Next, up we enter the fast lane, the real shortcut to wealth. Chapter 9. Wealth's Shortcut, the Fast Lane. If there was a shortcut to wealth, would you take it? Now I'm not talking about get-rich-quick scams or lucky lottery tickets. I'm talking about something real, a path that creates time, money, and freedom, while you're still young enough to live it. In this chapter, MJ DeMarco introduces the fast lane. And let me tell you, it's not just about making more money. It's about how you earn, how you think, and how you scale. Let's dive in. Here's the truth about the fast lane. It's not easy, but it's faster than the slow lane and infinitely more powerful. The fast lane isn't about getting rich in 40 years. It's about designing a life that gives you time and wealth in the next few years. How? By doing what most people won't. You stop trading time for money. You stop living paycheck to paycheck. And instead, you build systems, assets, and value that work while you sleep. The fast lane has 3 major rules. 1. You must create, not just consume. 2. You must scale, not just sell time. 3. You must own the process, not just rent your skills. Example 1. Single creator unlocking time and freedom. Let's talk about Kai. He's 29, loves writing, and used to freelance for $20 an hour. He'd wake up early, take every job he could, and burn out fast. One day, he decided to turn his writing into a digital product, a copywriting guide for small business owners. He launched it. Sold 30 copies the first week, then 100, then 500. Instead of constantly selling his time, Kai started selling a system. One he built once, and it paid him over and over. Example 2. Married couple with a scalable side hustle. Now meet Adam and Priya. They were both teachers, loved their work, but hated the stress and financial ceiling. So, on weekends, they started filming fun educational videos. Eventually, they built a small online course for parents who homeschool their kids. The course took weeks to create, but once it launched, it sold every single day. From their living room, while they were at work, even while they were asleep. They didn't quit their jobs right away, but now they have options. And options, that's what wealth is really about. Here's what I want you to hear. The fast lane is not for the lucky. It's for the intentional. It's not about shortcuts in effort. It's about shortcuts in strategy. You're not just earning. You're multiplying. You're not waiting for freedom. You're building it. And no, it won't happen overnight. But in a few years of focus, you can create what would take others a lifetime. That's why it's called the fast lane. So, what is the fast lane? It's about scale, ownership, leverage, and value. It's about creating something once and letting it serve people again and again. It's not a job, it's a mission. It's not about hours, it's about impact. And best of all, it puts you in control. Let's close with 3 questions. Number 1. What could you create that people want or need? Number 2. What part of your income could be replaced by a system that runs without you? And number 3, are you willing to build for a few years so you can live free for the rest of your life? This is your shortcut. Not to laziness, but to liberty. Next up, we explore something powerful, the law of affection. The secret behind how value and impact really lead to wealth. Let's keep going. Chapter 10. The law of affection. Let me ask you a question. If you wanted to build wealth fast, where would you start? Most people say, I need more money, or I need better luck. But MJ DeMarco gives us something different, something simple, powerful, and often overlooked. It's called the law of affection. And once you understand it, you'll never look at money the same way again. Here's what the law of affection says. The more lives you affect in a meaningful way, the more money you'll make. That's it. Wealth is just a reflection of value. And value is created when you solve a real problem for real people. The fast lane isn't about chasing money. It's about chasing impact. Because money follows meaning. When your product, your service, or your brand touches lives, money follows naturally, and the more people you help, the more value you create, the more income you attract. Example 1. Single coach growing through impact. Let me introduce you to Maya. She's a mindset coach for women in their 30s. At first, she coached one-on-one. She made just enough to get by, but she knew she could help more women. So she wrote a book, started a YouTube channel, launched a course. Her message started reaching thousands. She stopped trading hours and started affecting lives at scale. Now, she's impacting women across the world, and her income reflects it. She didn't get richer by working harder. She got richer by serving more people. Example 2. Small business turning into a movement. Now take Jesse and Ramon. They started with a food truck in their city. Just two guys making incredible street tacos. They built a following, then wrote a cookbook, then packaged their famous sauces and sold them online. What started as a small truck turned into a full-blown brand. They now sell nationwide and have a growing community. Why? Because they focused on one thing: affecting lives with something simple and loved. Tacos. That's the law of affection in action. You don't need to be famous to be wealthy. You don't need to invent something massive. You just need to touch lives. Create something that helps. Something people care about. Something that makes them say, "This made my life better." It could be a product, a skill, a message, a solution. The bigger the impact, the bigger the reward. Let's break it down. The law of affection is this: affect more lives, make more money. It's not a gimmick. It's not marketing fluff. It's the most consistent wealth principle out there. You don't need to chase cash. You need to chase service. Because when people feel helped, supported, and changed, they'll come back. They'll spread the word, and wealth will follow. Here are 3 questions to end this chapter. Number 1. What skill or experience do you have that could help others right now? Number 2. How could you reach 10 people, or 100, or 1,000 with that skill? And number 3. What could you create today that would truly affect someone's life for the better? Don't aim for money. Aim for meaning. Because money flows through people, and people respond to impact. In the next chapter, we'll explore a powerful truth: the commandment of control, and why giving away control is one of the biggest risks to your freedom. Let's keep building. You're doing great. Chapter 11. The commandment of control. Here's something most people don't talk about when it comes to money. Control. You can work hard, create value, build an audience. But if you don't have control over your business or income, your wealth is at risk. In Chapter 11, MJ DeMarco shares one of the most important Fastlane commandments: the commandment of control. Because without control, freedom is just an illusion. Let me explain why. When you give away control, you give away power. Think about it. If your income depends on one client, one employer, one platform, one algorithm, then your success is fragile. True wealth isn't just about earning more. It's about owning more. Owning your product, owning your brand, owning your platform, owning your decisions. Control gives you the power to adjust, pivot, and protect your future. When you don't have it, your business can disappear overnight. Example 1. Creator loses income overnight. Let's talk about Danny. She's a wellness coach who built her entire audience on Instagram. She had 80,000 followers, daily engagement, and good sales from her link in bio. Then one day, her account was hacked and taken down. She lost everything in a blink. No backup email list, no website, no way to reach her people. She built her brand on someone else's land. That's the danger of giving up control. Example 2. Small business wins through ownership. Now take Brian. He sells handmade coffee equipment. At first, he only sold through a big e-commerce platform. Then he realized, I don't own the customer. I don't control the sales. So he built his own website, started a newsletter, created a YouTube channel. He still uses other platforms, but they're tools, not crutches. Now, if one channel goes down, his business stays standing because he owns the system. That's control. That's smart. The fast lane isn't about depending on someone else's machine. It's about building your own. Yes, platforms can help you grow. Yes, partners can bring opportunities, but you must always keep control of the engine. Because when you own it, you guide it. When you own it, you grow it. And when you own it, you protect it. That's where freedom begins. With control. Let's break it down. The commandment of control means this: don't build your life on someone else's system. Own your platform. Own your brand. Own the connection with your audience. Own your future. Because when you have control, you have power. And when you don't, you're just one update, one policy change, or one mistake away from starting over. Let me leave you with 3 reflection questions. Number 1, what part of your income or business is outside your control? Number 2, if that source disappeared tomorrow, could you still reach your customers? And number 3, what can you start building today that gives you more control over your future? The world changes fast, but when you own your path, you can adapt faster. Next up is Chapter 12, The Commandment of Entry, where we talk about the power of barriers and how they protect your business from competition. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever tried starting something new, like a business or a side hustle, only to find out that everyone and their cousin is doing the exact same thing? That's where the Commandment of Entry comes in. In Chapter 12, MJ DeMarco teaches us why low barriers to entry usually mean high competition and low reward. So if you want to build real wealth, you need to think differently. Not harder, not louder, but smarter. Let me show you how. The commandment of entry is simple. The easier it is to get in, the harder it is to win. Let that sink in. If it takes almost nothing to start, then everyone can do it. And when everyone can do it, it becomes a race to the bottom. Low prices, high competition, exhausting hustle, minimal control. That's not the fast lane. That's burnout. Instead, you want to find or build something that's harder to enter. Something that requires a skill, a process, or a structure that sets you apart. Because high entry barriers protect you. They reduce competition. They give you room to grow. Example 1, low entry hustle, big stress. Let's talk about Kevin. He started selling drop-shipped gadgets online. He followed the tutorials, used the same suppliers as everyone else, and copied winning ads. At first, he made a few $100, but soon, thousands of other sellers jumped in. His profits vanished. Ads stopped working. He kept trying to tweak things, but it never stuck. He was in a low-entry business, and the flood of copycats crushed him. That's the risk when there's no entry barrier. Example 2, woman who built a barrier with skill and value. Now meet Ava. She's a web designer who decided to specialize in building beautiful, high-converting websites just for therapists. She created a signature framework. She built a library of real results, and she only works with clients by referral or waitlist. Guess what? She's not racing to lower her price. She's not drowning in competition. She built her own entry barrier with skill, results, and reputation, and now her work is in demand. That's fast lane strategy. Listen, I know it's tempting to chase easy, quick wins, copy-paste businesses, viral products. But easy starts don't lead to lasting freedom. They lead to constant chasing. The fast lane isn't about what's trendy. It's about what's defensible. When you create something that others can't easily duplicate, you create security. You create demand. You create wealth. So instead of asking, how do I start fast? Ask, how can I build something others can't easily follow? That's the mindset shift. Here's what we learned. Low entry wants low leverage. High entry, protection, power, and growth. Don't fear the hard stuff, because hard things protect you. And the moment something becomes too easy, it becomes too crowded. Choose the harder path today, so you can live the easier life tomorrow. Is what you're building easy for others to copy? What can you learn, master, or package that makes your business harder to duplicate? What would it look like if you stopped looking for shortcuts and started building barriers? The commandment of entry is about protection through distinction, and that is how the fast lane really begins to move. Next up, we'll unlock the commandment of need on Chapter 13, why solving real problems is the only path to lasting value. Let's be honest, most people who start a business focus on one question: what can I sell to make money? But in Chapter 13, MJ DeMarco shows us why that's the wrong place to start. The right question isn't about money, it's about need, because if you're not solving a real problem, your success will always be limited. This is the commandment of need, and it just might be the most important fast lane rule of all. Here's what the commandment of need says. If you want to make money, solve a problem. That's it. People don't buy products. They buy solutions. They buy relief. They buy results. And if your product, service, or idea doesn't meet a need, then it's just noise in a crowded world. The more urgent the need, the stronger the demand, and the faster your business grows. This isn't about guessing. It's about listening to pain points, to frustrations, to what people wish they had. Example 1. Single man chasing trends versus solving problems. Let's talk about Ethan. He jumped on every trend he saw. Print-on-demand shirts, crypto wallets, fidget spinners. He made a few bucks, but nothing stuck. Why? Because none of it solved a real problem. It was hype-driven, not need-driven. Then he started listening. His sister, a new mom, kept complaining about how complicated baby monitor apps were. So Ethan teamed up with a developer and built a simplified baby monitor interface that worked across multiple devices. Within 6 months, it became one of the top reviewed apps in the space. Same skills, different mindset. He stopped chasing attention and started solving problems. Example 2. Family business grounded in purpose. Now meet the Garcias. They run a small landscaping company. At first, it was just mowing lawns, but they noticed a pattern. Local seniors were struggling with seasonal yard care, especially with mobility issues, so they created a service package just for that audience. Easy scheduling, bundled pricing, clear communication, and light snow clearing in winter. Their business exploded, not because of marketing tricks, but because they solved a real, ongoing emotional need. Their growth came from empathy, not strategy, alone. Let me say this clearly. Need is your compass. If you want a business that lasts, you don't need fancy branding. You don't need a viral moment. You need a solution people care about. And you don't need to change the world. You just need to change someone's world. When you focus on solving something real, you never have to beg for sales. You just have to serve better. That's the power of need. So what have we learned? Don't build a product and then look for customers. Find a customer and build something they need. The commandment of need reminds us, money flows where problems are solved. If no one cares, no one pays, but if your product hits a nerve, you've got something that lasts. 3 questions for this chapter. Number 1, what problems do people constantly bring to you or talk about around you? Number 2, what simple frustrations could you solve with what you already know or do? And number 3, is your business or idea based on want or on real need? Need is the heart of the fast lane. Solve it, and everything else becomes easier. You now have the blueprint. You've learned why time is your most limited asset. You've discovered the truth behind compound interest, passive income, and scalable value. And you've started to understand the commandments that protect your future, control, entry, and need. The fast lane isn't about shortcuts. It's about building systems that scale. It's about serving more people, solving real problems, and setting yourself free. In the next episode, we'll dive into 2 of the most powerful drivers of wealth, time and scale. Get ready to multiply your results and reclaim your freedom. Episode 3 is waiting. Let's go.